Hey guys, it's Syama here, CEO of Scaling Retail, and this week's live market update as we're starting to think about how the coronavirus has been changing a lot of people's industries and businesses, especially retail. What I think is so interesting now to think about is really the components of how our businesses are evolving and shifting. It used to be that at the beginning of the pandemic, everyone was thinking about, how long is this going to be? 3 months out, how do I start to pivot my company in order to withstand this kind of short term setback? And what we're starting to see, guys, is the pandemic has no end sight, which I think is something that we need to be conscientious of as we look at how our business strategies need to be evolving. Now, as we've probably been keeping our eyes on the news, places like Los Angeles County are going to be rolling back a lot of the reopening measures. And we're starting to see other places now go into a phase two of shutting down or starting to pull back businesses being opened. And what's tragic about that is, these are jobs and people's livelihoods and things that are being affected in ways that we, unfortunately, as a culture and society, could have possibly have avoided had we been more conscientious about our own health and safety and that of other people. So I think what we're starting to realize is, from an economic standpoint, with so many people unemployed, with small businesses having a hard time reopening, we don't know when those times are going to change. And as we're looking at it from the perspective of being a business owner, it's very important to ask yourself, what are the ways in which my business can actually pivot and change during this time, right? And I don't mean that in a grasping sense. It's not what can I do today to make a quick buck? It's a bit more of how can I actually re-look at my business strategy and structure so I can create something that's going to be more sustainable and in alignment with what my needs are and also the needs of my customers. And that, I think, is something that we need to spend a lot more time thinking about. When we think about our dreams of entrepreneurship or our dreams of being independent, it's important to actually understand, where are those dreams and motivations coming from? How is it that we need and want to experience ourselves? And how does that manifest itself through the perspective of your business, right? So being a business owner, it's a pain in the ass. It's not easy. And when you're saying yes to being a business owner, you say yes to putting yourself up against your own shit. So as you're relooking at your business and your business evolution, I would say, guys, you need to be planning for your businesses and livelihoods to be different and be not normal for the next 1.5 to 2 years. It's not to say that you can't have your business. It's just to say that it's going to be a different version of your business. So the idea of holding out for something to change is one that is becoming further away from us, right? As we're starting to see things in the economy start to go like this, right? Things are shifting. And I'm not being alarmist. It's more that the person who's going to win at the end is the one who's planning and who's thinking and who's agile and who's making decisions. And so as you're looking at your business, this is an amazing opportunity to say, well, what are the ways in which I can authentically pivot or authentically come up with new products or services in a way that's going to resonate with my customer base, in a way that's going to resonate with myself, right? As a business owner, a lot of this is like it's like there is no CEO. You probably are the CEO. So it's important to understand kind of where your perspective is and kind of how you're looking to build and grow. And so making those adjustments are ultimately going to save your mental health. It's going to save your business and it's going to save your entrepreneurialism. And I always tell people the first business that you launch is usually not your last business. And so when you're looking at maybe possibly shutting down one business and starting something else, it's not that that's a failure, right? It's actually that now you're doing something else when you have more information. So the question becomes, as I get more information about myself, about my business, about my industry, how do I then make changes that take more information into consideration? And that, I think, is really important, right? It's like, how do I do that? And so that is my call to action for you guys today, is to be thinking about your personal motivation and your business motivation and how you can actually find ways of either, again, pivoting your existing business in a way that works, or coming up with something altogether that's going to be different for you, and that's actually going to help you, allow you to thrive. Because at the end of the day, if your business is not successful, it doesn't mean that you're not successful, right? The term success, I think, is also something we have to ask ourselves. On a personal note, you guys have probably been noticing that I've had different backgrounds over the last 4 months, right? 4 or 5 months. I've also had to be agile and pivot and think about how my life is shifting. And so for a few months, I was in New York, and you had a New York background. And then I was in LA, and you had an LA background. Now I'm in San Francisco, and I have a San Francisco background. And all these different places, but yet at the same time, I've been able to, be consistent and show up and be able to focus on my work, and I feel really grateful for that. But you can do your job if you set it up properly, especially in retail with your e-commerce businesses. Working direct to consumer, you have an opportunity to be wherever you need to be in order to feel confident so you can be focused and make good business decisions. And that's what I think is important. I've seen a lot of businesses not be making smart business decisions. I've seen a lot of companies that are flailing, not because they have to, but because of the anxiety around what's happening in the world. So doing the things you need to be able to refocus your energy. Look at your business from a macro 30,000 feet perspective. So where is my industry going? How do I need to change? What are the pros and cons? Looking at it from the business side, looking at it from a personal side, and then making a decision that's ultimately going to meet both in the middle. And I think that's important. As far as we started to hear more information about people getting the PPP, the grants, people are now going to have to start showing up where those resources are coming from. Anyone who got the economic disaster loan, you guys are going to have, about a year before you have to start doing repayments on that. And just in terms of, content and strategy and your business direction, I've been doing a ton of webinars. If you guys are not on our mailing list, you should get on it, because we've been producing some excellent content around business strategy, online trade shows, how to be thinking about, buying and selling, all of that. Hey, Lulu, how can we work together? Yeah, send me an email. You can shoot me an email at hello@scalingretail. And we can find a time to speak to each other. I do work with startups. I work with startups all the time. 99% of the companies I work with are startups. And our agency and our consultancy works with startups every day. So, it's you get to see me on camera all the time, but it's not just me. I'm really lucky. I get to be heading up the brand. I get to work with really talented people. And I'm proud to say that the company is not called the Syama company, right? It's not about me, but it's about the work that we do, and it's about the passion, and it's about making sure that we are giving clients the right business strategy and the right business direction. And ultimately, at the end of the day, that's all we can do, right? Is meet you where you're at and help you refocus and position. All right, guys. So please be conscientious about business moves. This is the time to be smart about how you are being agile and nimble in your business. This is not the time to panic. If you were to look at this from a 2 years out perspective, it is important that you say, well, how am I building my business so it can be successful if it's going to launch next year? I mean, I had a client who just launched a couple weeks ago. She landed an amazing article in Vogue. Her first week sales were over $10,000. Like, holy bananas. Like, that's amazing, So it's not that it's not possible to do well right now. It's not like you have to get help. It's like, if you've ever been scared to ask for help, and maybe this is like TMI, but sometimes I get scared to ask for help. And if you've ever been scared to ask for help, this is the moment to be able to ask for help, get the support you need, make sure you're making the right decisions, and remember that you're not alone. And even though it feels like business is crazy, or non-existent, or you're wondering how you're going to change, you have an opportunity to do something pretty spectacular. And there are people who want to help you. So, all right, that's all from me, guys. I am in San Francisco. I'll be between San Francisco and Marin County for the foreseeable future, which is exciting. And, we'll be continuing to do some really great online content. My team is ready and available to help you support your business and grow. And please stay in touch. You can find me at hello@scalingretail.com. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.